Found out there was a visa issue with his original opponent, so in steps Darren Traynor as we look at the Geico tail of the tape and look no further among these 33-year-olds when you're comparing them to that bottom line. Experience, world-class experience, champion. Well, there's Darren Traynor, 33-year-old, who's very determined when we spoke to him this week, even though in terms of experience and seemingly skill, he's wildly overmatched. Does, of course, have the size advantage against the 5'5" Frampton. Traynor 5'7". Frampton loose and comfortable fighting here at just under the lightweight limit before he will retreat down to contend at junior lightweight.
You know, early on in the fight, I'm looking at hand placement of my opponent. I'm looking at his stance. You know, and just a minute ago, I saw Frampton go down with the jab to the body of Traynor, and Traynor dropped his right hand. So I expect the veteran Frampton to surprise him with the left hook over the top.
Give us something to look for. It was a left uppercut that split the guard that time against Traynor. Traynor, a guy who has overcome a lot in life, and he admits how difficult his childhood was, and you know, has said he did a lot of stupid things growing up when he was younger. He was drinking, getting in trouble. He was stabbed at school when he was only 14 years old. Went away for assault to prison when he was 22 years old, but said boxing straightened him out. Here he is, 33 years old, is Darren Traynor with 16 wins in his career.
Yeah, it's always a blessing to hear somebody, you know, talk about the struggle, but then talk about how they overcame. And he credits boxing for that. And it's a beautiful thing because the sport has saved a lot of lives just from fighters that I know. And just even myself, you know, you just wonder where you would be if you didn't have the discipline of the sport of boxing in your life. And that's the story for Darren Traynor.
Well, the one thing interesting is how it then translates to what he is in the ring, not just out of the ring, which obviously has been a great blessing because he says, listen, I'm a street kid, I'm a pure fighter, so I have to work on my in-ring temperament.
Yeah, he's a solid fighter, Traynor, but he tends to always end up on the wrong side when he steps up the competition. I mean, he's been down 7 times, he's been stopped inside the distance twice, and make no mistake about it, Carl Frampton wants to stop him for the 3rd time. He's looking for the knockout tonight.
Traynor trying to fire off that right hand as the former 2-division champion came in that time. Frampton with a right hand to the body. Michael Alexander, our referee, as he separates Frampton and Traynor. More from London after this quick break, end of 1. Joe, Dre, Tim, and Mark with you on this Saturday afternoon stateside and a Saturday fight night at York Hall at PT Sports Studio in London. Carl Frampton into round number 2 here against Darren Traynor. Of course, we mentioned the fact that just his 2nd fight since December of 2018 for the former Fighter of the Year. Dre, last year we were getting set to call a Carl Frampton fight in Philadelphia, and he suffered the freakest accident I've ever heard of why a fight dropped out. He was simply sitting in the hotel lobby. So we're going to get a time here as Michael Alexander will give the warning to Frampton. He was sitting in a hotel lobby in Philadelphia when a large column fell down. It tipped over in the hotel lobby, and of course it crashes down and breaks his left hand. You talk about bad luck. You come stateside to make your top-ranked debut, and then the next thing you know, it's surgery to put a metal plate in your left hand.
I've never heard of anything close to that, Joe. I still don't know what to make of that. And, I mean, maybe Mark Kriegel, maybe our Mark Kriegel has the inside scoop on what happened, but it's unbelievable. Like, I'm lost for words.
Yeah, it was a decorative column near stairs and an escalator and some drapery, and he's sitting there. He's got his hand on a table, and the column crashes down and breaks his hand, and he's out of the fight and out of action for a little bit.
But Tess, what about, I heard that, but what about the fact that his opponent fell down in the shower, had a freakish accident and fell down in the shower?
Can't make this stuff up.
This guy has some bad luck. And then we heard the story about him running into a glass just recently, a window, walking right into it. Do not play poker with this man. Do not take this man to the casino. He is bad luck.
As soon as I heard the news, fellas, I went over to the hotel, started snooping around, taking pictures, asking people, what did you see, what did you know? And I knew Carl from Belfast. Previously, I had interviewed him. I really like him. When he gets to the hotel with his crew, he's like, hey, what are you doing here? I had a cop. I had to tell him the truth. Like, I'm snooping around for you. And he says, I go, I know it sounds crazy, he says, but it really did happen like this. The column fell on my hand. I'm so disappointed.
Unbelievable.
Traynor with an offensive burst against Frampton as he tried to back out.
I like what Traynor's doing. You know, he's been very patient. You know, Frampton probably expected him to come forward and be more aggressive. But the fact that he's using his height and his reach, he's giving Frampton a little bit of problem.
He is. Not a bad start for Traynor. Carl, Frampton has a 26-18 connect advantage as we start round number 3. Frampton against Darren Traynor, the Scotsman who took the fight on a week's notice.
One thing you got to respect about Darren Traynor is that, yes, he is 16-3, has been stopped on 2 occasions, but even in the fights that he got stopped in, he was fighting, and he just happened to get caught. He never lays down. You know, he never seems to be intimidated, and right now he doesn't seem to be intimidated by Carl Frampton.
Utilizing that jab, taller man. Frampton comes in with a 2-punch combination. He's able to touch him with that left hand as Traynor crossed that threshold. And I was calling for the break that time as Michael Alexander, the referee, was coming in.
And I know it's only the 3rd round, Joe, but Frampton so far, he just looks a little complacent. He's just doing a lot of posing. He doesn't seem to have a rhythm like we saw from Conlon. And he's just kind of allowing Traynor to stick around, and you know, he's just picking, poking Traynor. And you got to be careful with a guy like Traynor, because if you allow him to be emboldened, he could shock you and potentially catch you with a shot or pull away and win the fight.
Although, Dre, that is very, very true. I just think he's been patient. He's looking for the right shot. He's looking for the kill shot to end this fight. But I hear what you're saying.
And we know, Tim, that you can still be patient and still keep your jab working, still have high energy. And I'm more or less just talking about the energy. He doesn't seem to have a high level of energy tonight. He seems a little lethargic, at least early on.
And he's getting hit with combinations from Traynor.
Just moments ago, finished with a right hand.
Yeah, but I mean, you see the fundamentals of Frampton right now. You know, him being a vet, he's stepping back with his hands down. He's not respecting Traynor at all. He's not respecting his power. He needs to be careful.
Well, he made the comment to us. He said, listen, if I can get rid of the guy in 30 seconds, I will. But I'll say this, I don't expect the fight to go to the second half of the fight. Here we are coming to the end of round number 3, scheduled for 10. Live action from London. Carl Frampton, obviously overwhelming favorite to get rid of Darren Traynor here before he heads off to fight for a world title. But Traynor's hanging in there well so far in the first 3 rounds. Frampton said to us the other day, Dre, he said there's zero pressure on Darren Traynor to perform. And he said that has me nervous because I'm expected to go out and be great.
Yeah, that's a different kind of pressure when you're expected to win. But, you know, he's a former champion, 2-division champion, 3-time world champion. That's no excuse. You got to find a way to figure it out. I mean, great fighters make fighters who shouldn't be in the ring with them look like they shouldn't be in the ring with them. And against other champions and top-level guys, more times than not, they find a way to come out on top.
If I'm in Traynor's corner right now, I'm telling him, use your jab, and when you get close, extend with your right hand, let your combinations go. Give me 3s and 4s. You know, Frampton is sitting back looking for one shot. And while he's sitting back looking for that one shot, I'm hitting him with combinations.
No warning from the ref right there.
See, with counterpunchers, you can get the 2s and 3s off with counterpunchers. They be sitting and waiting on that perfect shot. You can get your hands off, you know, and especially with all the bobbing and weaving that you just saw Frampton do just now. You know, something's gonna get in there if you let your hands go.
Frampton looking for that jab off the hip.
That's a sharp jab right there, Tess. That's a strong jab off the hip.
Puts the right hand behind it. There he snaps back the head of Traynor.
Just not enough jabs so far from Carl Frampton for me.
It seems like Frampton has now found his rhythm. You know, you see a fighter hit a fighter more often, that means he's getting his rhythm down.
See if he can keep it up here as we come to the end of round 4. Frampton against Traynor, one of the best fighters in recent years, against a guy from Scotland who took the fight on just a week's notice. In fact, Traynor has fought, coming into today, 106 total rounds in his pro career. Frampton, just in championship fights, has fought nearly that. He's fought 89 rounds of championship fights. And he's hoping to have more championship rounds come November against Jamel Herring. Has to get the win today, come out clean. Herring has to win in his title defense against Akendo. That'll be on ESPN on September 5th.
Joe, Frampton told us that he sparred a lot less rounds in this fight, more situational sparring where, you know, it's not all out. And he said he feels fresher and he feels a lot better because of it. And naturally so. You're not taking a lot of punishment in training camp, but oftentimes when you have that kind of training camp, you're not as sharp as you should be, and that may be contributing to what we're seeing from Carl Frampton right now.
For the casual fan out there, Dre, take us a little deeper when a fighter says that, of situational sparring, or sometimes we'll hear technical sparring, of sparring with a specific plan. Explain that for the average guy.
So, right. Technical sparring is when you have a coach in the ring or a coach who is telling you, hey, we're not going to go all out. I don't want you to exert yourself and try to hurt the other guy. Hey, just work on inside game. Or, hey, we're only going to use one arm today. Just use your jab. That's good. And you know, there's days for that. But all-out sparring, when you have to learn how to control your emotions, when you're working your cardiovascular system and everything is live, that you can't really duplicate that in training camp. And you want to be as close to that as you can so when you get in a fight, the body's not shocked.
And I understand, Dre, you know, he's an older, Frampton being an older fighter, you know, and the older you get, and the further you get down in your career, you don't have to spar a whole lot of rounds. But somebody needs to scream at him and tell him that this isn't a sparring session right now. This is a real fight.
But Timmy, you know, sometimes it's hard to turn that switch on and off.
Yep.
If you've had 6 to 8 weeks of, you know, fighting at a certain pace and having a certain mindset, it's hard to turn that thing on in a fight sometimes.
I expected with all that experience, Dre, I expect them to be able to turn it on. It doesn't matter what time it is. It can be 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Hey, when you need to fight, it's a fight. Let's go, fight.
A little more of it here at the end of
He
5.
got hurt with that left hook.
He did. Interesting finish here to round 5 between Frampton and Traynor. Good stuff from London. Good action to close out that last round between Frampton and Traynor. Remember, this is scheduled for 10 rounds. Frampton, obviously an overwhelming favorite to get through Darren Traynor. But when we spoke to Frampton the other day, we had a real long visit with the former 2-division world champion. Dre, he said to us, I'll be upset if Darren Traynor sees the second half of this fight. Well, here we are starting the second half of this fight. Do you then feel this is where Frampton now really picks it up and goes after him?
Well, I think he should, and I think, you know, he should be disappointed if he doesn't stop a guy who's been stopped twice and been down 7 times. I mean, we're talking about Carl Frampton fighting Jamel Herring in his next fight, if Jamel Herring is successful in his next fight. So, you know, it doesn't tell the full story, but you don't want to go into a fight like that being subpar against a guy like Darren Traynor.
Well, we'll see, Timmy, if that clicks in his head, that marker he had set aside of thinking, I don't want him to get to the second half. Here he is. Let's see if Frampton gets a little more aggressive against Traynor.
Well, the fact that he's fighting this type of fight right now and the way Frampton's looking, I'm not saying he looks bad. I'm just saying the way he's looking right now, it just tells me that he doesn't belong at this weight class at 130 pounds. And I understand that he wants to fight for that 3rd world championship against Jamel Herring. But, you know, with this type of performance, just as you said, Dre, I don't know. I don't know.
Just as a reminder to those who joined us a little late, may not have heard the initial weights, this, because of coming off the pandemic, the circumstances of the late notice opponent, is a lightweight fight, but of course he'll be contending at 130 pounds, former champion at 122 and 126. Now on the inside, Traynor lets his hands go.
If I'm a Jamel Herring right now,
good body shot.
I'm sitting back and I'm saying, yes. Give me that fight immediately.
There's Frampton getting to the inside. 2-punch combination. Landed the left hand. Comes back with a left hook. Now he digs to the body with a left hand as well. Goes to the body again. Up top right hand. Traynor willing to exchange here in round 6. Traynor, a couple of right hands.
Credit right now, Tess.
There's a right hand to the body, a left hand to the body, and that floors Traynor. Carl Frampton with the body shot attack scores a brutal knockdown. Well, Traynor was down on his front side and somehow gets up and beats the count. He looked like he wasn't going to continue.
Down to round 7.
Dominating 6th round for Carl Frampton. He landed 18 power punches, damaged Traynor, put him down with a body shot, and here we are in round 7. Let's see if Frampton can get rid of him right here.
Tess, the last round he found the key. The key was the inside. Traynor does not like it inside the kitchen, and he can't fight off his back foot. Great job by Frampton figuring it out.
Frampton weaving, maybe looking for something, see if he can get back to that left hand to the body, as he has been targeting that inside attack, that body work. Frampton goes back there with a right hand. Again to the belt line with a right hand. There's another left hand to the body. Did he just quit? Traynor just absorbed that body shot. Instead of going down, he said, I'm done. That is it. TKO victory.
No mas.